Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is time for our migraine strategy call. I am Debbie Waidl. I am your migraine functional health coach, here to help you find your migraine freedom without having to use pills or quick fixes or all of the other things that are actually dangerous and harmful for us and really don't get to the root of the problem. We are really here to help you figure out exactly why your migraines are showing up and teach you what you can do so that that doesn't happen anymore. So we're here at a special time tonight because we have Elissa with us, who is working all day long, and she really wanted to come and share her story with you. So Elissa, thank you so much for taking some time out of your very busy day to join us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, for those of you who are watching live, do me a favor. I'm just going to double check over here really quick and make sure we are live in the right group. Jump on, let me know that you are watching, let me know that you're here, and let me know where you're watching from. I would love to know where everyone is from this evening. I'm Rochester, New York. Elissa, remind me, where are you from?
I am in outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in a city called
Nice.
Cumming.
Nice. It must be warm today. Is it warm?
It is. Very.
It was rainy, foggy, and cold here today. It was like 60s and not very fun. We did not have the best Labor Day weekend weather.
No,
but that's all right. That's all good. All right. So I think I have Valentina, who's hanging out over in the group. Oh, and Melissa's on. Hello, Melissa. So I have a couple employees hanging out over in the group on the other side. So if anybody has any questions, please know that they're over there. Melissa is there and Valentina should be as well. So let's get started. Let me just tell you a little bit about Elissa, and then we're going to pop into what her journey has looked like. So you've been on your migraine roller coaster since your early 20s, married to your husband, Mike, for 13 years. And you have one daughter in middle school and a 4-year-old golden doodle. I didn't know that.
Yes. He's not.
Mine
in
abandoned me
right now. Yes.
Yeah, mine's not either. It's dinner time. He's downstairs. I am chopped liver right now, which is okay. That is absolutely all right. Normally I have a little friend though, but anyway, so you've been dealing with migraines for quite a while. Why don't you walk us through what your journeys look like so that the women watching can realize that they're not so different than what they think they are.
Sure. So I actually probably have had migraines longer than I really know, because I thought I was having a lot of sinus infections when I was in graduate school. But then finally got diagnosed in my early 20s once I started working. I have tried, my early 20s was well over 20 years ago. So I have, just to give a little perspective, I have tried every different type of medication, from over-the-counter pain relievers to all the different triptans, from the earliest ones, and as they've changed, I've tried different ones. I have tried every different preventative that's out there, all those different classes of drugs.
Yes.
I've tried. I did finally find something that was somewhat successful so that I could have some relief. I had my pretty much 4 full-blown migraines per week, and when they were at their worst. So the preventative definitely reduced that, got me to the point where I didn't run out of triptans during the month, because we only get a certain amount. I've been off of all of my preventatives, all of my medications at different times, but have had to go back on them just because I never could figure out what was going on. And I always knew that it was all connected in some way, but could never find the right doctor to help
Mhm.
me figure that out.
Yeah, and the doctors are so well-meaning, right? I mean, you go in, they don't want you in pain.
Right.
They want to take you out of pain, and really conventional medicine, that's what they know how to do. You
Yeah.
come in, you give them a list of symptoms, and they're like, "Ah, this prescription, let's give it a try."
Yeah.
Or as you mentioned, you use a lot of prescriptions, which we call written off script. They weren't meant for migraines,
Yes.
but they were like, "Oh, look, if you take blood pressure medication, the happy side effect is your migraines reduce a little bit." But
Yeah.
it doesn't last.
Right.
It's so short-lived. And really, it's just putting this band-aid on this bullet wound that's about to, just get so much worse because you're covering it up and covering it up instead of trying to get to that root. So, did you have to try to work during all this as well? And
Yes, I have worked through all of it, and I've had multiple bosses who were just like, I don't even know how you do this. And you just push through. I always considered myself somewhat fortunate that I wasn't one of the migraineurs who was like um, throwing up all the
mhm,
time, or,
mhm,
I fortunately didn't have that issue. I didn't have to call in sick multiple times. I found ways of I'll drive to work first and then take the triptan when I get there if it makes me a little drowsy. I've had student I work I'm in education, so I had student teachers. I just have always made it work and
do
covered it.
even though, yeah, exactly, you cover it up, right? Because we
Yeah,
push through, because well, let's face it, if you have migraines 4 days a week, it's not very long before you're gonna get fired if you call in sick every day.
exactly.
And it doesn't matter if your boss loves you or not. I mean, if you were working for me, after,
Yep.
a few months, it's like, okay, you're not working. You can't
Right.
work, and not your fault. So that's why we push through. Do you think that that really impacted your work and how you felt emotionally on a daily basis that you had to do that?
Um, when uh, Definitely when things were at their worst, and it definitely what I often questioned myself, like, how am I doing this? I
Hmm.
also at one point was in a a higher position where I was driving a ton, doing a ton of traveling around a very large school system. And that was, yeah, it's like, how am I doing this? Why am I doing this? This can't be
Yeah.
helping.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Exactly. Oh, we've got some ladies on. Melissa's on. Lana's on. It's good to see you ladies this evening. Again, let us know if you have any questions below. Give us a heart. Let us know that you're here watching. I can't see all the comments. Facebook filters out on my phone. I can only see half. So we'll make sure we get to any comments that we don't see during the live. I'll make sure we get to them after. All right, so let's fast forward. You did all those meds, you did all the preventatives, you tried all the things, and then somehow we crossed paths.
yes. So I think just different migraine groups that I would follow on Facebook,
Hmm.
it has its ways, and this popped up, and I was like, okay, women's, this is specifically toward women. And so I went on the women's migraine group to see um, who you were and what you were about, did some reading, and was like, okay, this might be the next thing that I need to try, because anytime you can find someone who's experienced it themselves and has helped so many people, I was like, okay, I have to see what this is about and how this might be able to help me, because the reality is it couldn't hurt me. I've
Yeah,
tried so many different things that, this couldn't be a bad thing to try.
absolutely. And I definitely know. I don't know your exact migraine, how you feel, because of course we all feel a little different, but I had them every day for 10 years. So
Yep.
I have a pretty good idea what most of you are feeling
Yep.
and what it's like to try to work, raise kids, be married or in a relationship, and feel that way, because you really do spend so much time hiding
Yep.
how you feel. I
Yep.
don't know about you, but I got so sick of saying I had a migraine that I was like, I don't even want to say it anymore. Like, don't ask me. You
Hmm.
should know by the look on my face now
Exactly.
that I have one
Exactly.
and that I do every day. So don't even ask me
Just,
anymore.
yep.
So you obviously joined one of our programs. You joined the Freedom from Migraine Method,
Mhm.
and you've tried so many things. Why do you think that this worked? In comparison to everything else you tried.
Yep. I it's so hard to explain. Well, I think a lot of everybody watching is going to understand it, but for so long I thought that I just suffered from migraines, and it was just something I just had to learn to deal with. I could,
Mhm.
relieve some of the pain, reduce some of the intensity, but this program really shows me that I don't suffer from migraines. I get migraines, but I have more control over them. I have more control
Mhm.
over how often I get them, how bad they are, how what there's just so much more that I can do to
Mhm.
stop them, reduce them, all of that. Like, it's not, the medication isn't the miracle. It's the
Yeah.
things that I can do to truly make it better.
Oh, I love that. That is exactly what I want everyone to know, is that you're in control. You, you are in control of your health. Granted, yes, we may be born with certain things that have a little genetic weak link or whatever, but we still are in control as to how we finagle that, and everyone has a weak link. Um, because we know, well, I shouldn't say we all know, because there's so many amazing new members in the group. So let me just say, for those of you who are brand new, who don't understand, migraines are a symptom, and that is a symptom that is being caused by chronic inflammation. So when you are chronically inflamed, your body actually triggers a migraine. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I actually got somebody angry. So I'm not trying to make anybody angry, but we'll see if it happens again tonight. You're actually the lucky ones. You're lucky that your chronic inflammation shows up as migraines, because it could show up as cancer, could show up as dementia, could show up as heart disease, it could show up as type 1 diabetes, which is not reversible. You have something here. Your body, yes, it's giving you this horrible symptom. And again, I am not downplaying the nausea, the dizziness. Trust me, 10 years, I get it all. But you can do something. You can change this. We can fix this. For the majority of you, we can fix this. So to me, that is something that is like, okay, we've caught it. Let's take care of it before it gets worse. And I think that was something that Elissa reminded me, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think you and I talked about that quite a bit.
Oh,
That yes, we
yes.
wanted to fix the migraines, but really it was, we want to make sure that we're healthy in the future. Why is that so
Yes.
important?
Well, because I I know from blood work that I have inflammation. I have markers for autoimmune diseases. I've been
Mhm.
um, tested and multiple times for multiple different autoimmune, and I know what I have to prevent. So
Mhm.
I don't, I know I've always just instinctively felt like the migraine was just one piece of all of that, and just couldn't find
Yeah.
anybody to actually tell me that that was true. And then, but just knowing that all of these things that I can do will just further help me with all of those other health issues,
Mhm.
that I don't want to just accept that I'm going to get them. I want
Yeah.
to know that there's things that I can do to prevent them from happening.
A
Type 2
hundred percent.
diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, I'm the only one in my immediate family who doesn't have it. So just to
Wow.
know that there are, that genetic predisposition is
Mhm.
so big for me, but there are so many things I can do to hopefully prevent that from actually happening.
Absolutely. And you know what? We may have to work a little harder in other areas. We may have to give up a couple things that, which is so annoying. Like, I
Yeah.
look at my husband, who's like 5'11" and a half, and, can eat whatever the hell he wants to eat,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
barely exercises, we're all good. And I'm like, I look at a cookie and it just goes right to my hips, or, to my head if I'm not careful. But,
Yes.
um, you know, it is what it is. but it
Yeah.
could be so much worse,
Yep.
and that's how I look at it, is like, we can make that choice. We have a choice on a daily basis, and there's 3,500 of you in this group right now. And so many of you are making this choice on a daily basis to stay in pain. So I challenge everyone watching to make a choice to find a way to get out of pain, not just for the migraine, but for the future, to make sure that
Mhm.
your health is good for your future, so that, you know, and this is how I look at it, and maybe not everyone does, but I don't want to be a burden to my kids when I'm 80. I want to be the healthy grandma that's on the beach doing yoga, swimming, enjoying life, not the one that's got to be in a nursing home somewhere that they have to come visit and take care of because I didn't take care of myself in my 40s and 50s. Now, I didn't take care of myself in my 20s and 30s. I didn't. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I didn't know any better, but now I do. So now I have a responsibility to my body to give it what it needs. And I know, as you just said, Alyssa, you and I talked about that quite a bit, that
Yep.
you've taken on that responsibility, which is amazing. And what a great example for your whole family.
Yes. Hopefully so, because I mean, I can
Hopefully
tell,
so.
well, because I can tell you in all honesty, I know myself and I'm not going to be 100% perfect all of the
Hmm.
time. I'm going to slip
Hmm.
up. I'm going to have those issues, but I can't I can't blame my body for what happens. I
Hmm.
truly know that I just did that to myself. So
Hmm.
I did that to my body. So if I feel that migraine coming on, or I feel the other pains that I get, other chronic pain that I get, I know that I did that. I did not stick to something, and now I have to
Hmm.
go back and work on that to to build up that threshold again so I don't have that
Hmm.
pain.
And that is 100% the definition of migraine freedom right there. Migraine freedom doesn't necessarily mean that you will never have a head pain again in the rest of your life. Migraine freedom means that, one, when you've caused the pain. Two, you know how to not be in pain. And three, you have the power to make the choice. You can choose, right? We all
Yep.
have that choice every day. And some days we are going to choose to have the piece of cake, or to stay up late, or to have the glass of wine. Some days we're going to make that choice, and that choice is worth the consequence. But we just have to own that consequence, right? And we
Yes.
can't keep doing it, because then otherwise we stay in groups like this, the Women's Migraine Freedom Group. We stay here forever. There's some women that have been in here over a year, and I'm like, why? Why are we in this group for over a year? You don't
Yeah.
need to be. Let's get it fixed and let's get you out.
Yep.
Or you can stay in here like everyone, like all of our graduates who just want to hang out and chat with each other. That's
Yep.
fine. Stay in here
Yes.
for fun, but don't stay in here that you have to do the work. So I'm curious, how does your family feel now that you've completed the program? Because I'm sure you made some changes that maybe they didn't love.
Yeah.
Um, but how are they feeling now?
You, there it's interesting because, like we said, for so long I pushed it all and hit it all so much that I don't think they always knew how much pain I was in.
Hmm.
So, they they're always dealing with some little changes that I'm always trying to make for all of us. So
Yep.
I think
Yep.
from some of the like food perspectives and that, it none of that really fazed them because they just thought it was just another thing I was trying. Um, uh, the where I think things have really hit them is there did come that point where I was like, I can't fake this anymore. Like I can't
Hmm.
hide this pain. So so now when I'm really, really actually in pain, they see it, and they they just accept it. They realize, like, okay, she needs her time. I have to go in my room. I'm gonna have this ice mask on my face, and I'm gonna have to work through it. Whereas before it was, just I'm okay. Well, let's go. Give me a minute. I'll be there in a minute. Let me take my pill. So it's just a
Yeah.
different side that they're seeing.
Absolutely. Well, they're seeing you putting your health first and putting you first, which
Yes,
is
that's
so
what I was
important.
just gonna say. I think my daughter especially is like, okay, she's taking care of herself.
Yep,
Whereas before I was always taking care of everybody else first. And now it's
exactly.
me first.
Yeah. I mean, it's that oxygen mask. We can't come up with a better analogy than that. You're on
Yeah.
that plane. You got to put your mask on first if you want to be safe and everybody else is on that plane. So it's so important. Oh, well, thank you so much for being here this evening and sharing your story. So before we go, I would just love to ask, is there anything that you would like to share to the women that are just still sitting in the group that have been there a year, 6 months, and are thinking, I'm just going to read the posts. I'm just going to sit back. I don't really know if this is going to help, but I'm just going to keep sitting in here. What do you say to those women?
It honestly, just do it. If you've been suffering with migraines for even the year that you've been sitting in this group, I don't care if you've had migraines for a year, 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter. Like none of us really deserve to have that kind of pain. So just give it a try. The interesting thing is I usually waver on things for quite a while. And when it came to this and I got the message like, hey, why don't we have this chat and see what's next? And I just was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, because if I say no and put it off, it's never gonna happen. So I just did it.
Hmm.
It ended up being the most difficult part time in my life so far,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
I dealt with the illness and death of my father in a very rapid period of time. And if I hadn't chosen to do this at this time, I think my pain right now would be unbearable. So I just don't put it off. Just make the choice. No time in your life is going to be easy to do this program because it takes work, but the work is worth it because of how you feel on the other side of it.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. That was kind of you to let everyone know, because it is important to know that there is never a right time. I probably talk to 100 women a month, if not a few more. And, I always hear, when the kids go to school, I'll do this. When, summer break is over, I'll do this. Or after the holidays, I'll do this. And the women that can go through this program and do it and come out successful on the other end, you can tackle anything.
Yeah.
You've got the skills now to be able to tackle any circumstance. You don't necessarily want to do this when is the world peachy keen, but you don't want to do this
Right.
when the world is perfectly peachy keen, because it isn't. So then you're not prepared for that circumstance that's going to be difficult. So, you really triumphed through this. And we've actually had a couple other women who have done the program during the passing of a loved one, which, I think it's amazing that we get to be there and support you during that.
Yep.
I mean, you took the little time that you needed,
Yep.
but you also knew that you had a group of amazing women that were going to be there in 2 seconds if you needed something from them. So I
Yes.
hope you
And
felt comfort from that.
and at the time, almost perfect strangers too. Like to have
Yeah.
that kind of comfort from people that I had never met or really talked to. And it just, yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. We don't stay strangers for long.
No, not at all.
Not in this group. Within like 5 minutes of someone joining, there's 15 women reaching out to welcome that woman in and let them know, their experience, share how things have gone for them so far, and letting them know how they can help. And um, which is what makes this group so special. And you have been an amazing part of that and given so much back to everyone else. So we can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, everyone, we're going to wrap it up for the night because it is 7:30 Eastern. And I totally, where'd you say you were, Alyssa? I just totally
Georgia.
forgot.
Yeah.
Georgia. So you're in
7:30.
my
It's
time zone.
7:30.
Duh, I knew that. So it is late for you.
Yep.
You need to make sure that you honor yourself. So we're going to end today's call, but thank you so much again for sharing
Thank
your
you.
story with everyone else. And for those of you that are watching, if you have any additional questions for myself or for Alyssa, just make sure you tag us in the video. Later, I will get some written words that Alyssa did for us, and I'll make sure we get those in the post. It might be tomorrow, though, because I'm going to go honor myself and eat dinner as well, because that's important, right? We got to make sure we're taking care of ourselves first. So Thank you everyone for being on, and here's to everyone's migraine freedom. We'll see you in the group. Take care.
Thank you.